Hello and welcome to Teacher Talk Radio 106.3. I'm your host, Sean Donaldson. Today we have something really special for you guys. We're going to be talking about the 13 disabilities that teachers encounter in their classrooms. We're going to have 3 teachers call in and talk about some of their students, and we are also going to be consulting some experts about those disabilities today to see if we can get these teachers some help. All right, our first caller is from Boston, Massachusetts. Caller, what's your name, what do you teach, and what are you struggling with?
Hey, Sean, this is Mr. Brady calling. I teach high school gym up in Boston, public schools, and I got a kid in my class. His name is Billy. He has CP, and it's just been tough incorporating him into the activities, and I'm not really sure how to handle him and how to make him enjoy the class. I feel like he's not really interacting with his peers too well, and I didn't pay that much attention during the IEP meeting. I was trying to listen, but I just zoned out a little bit. And if you could help me out with any accommodations or just anything that you think would help the kid Billy just connect, and he's a great kid. I just want to see him succeed in this area of his life in all classroom settings. So Jim can be a part of that. Well, I'm looking forward to what you say, Sean.
All right, thanks for chiming in, Mr. Brady. I do not know very much about this, but we do have an expert on the line, and just for you guys listening, it is very important to listen during the IEP meeting. Dr. Walt, what you got to say about Mr. Brady's situation?
Mr. Brady, this is Dr. Walt, and we appreciate your phone call and your concern that you're expressing for some of the students. The biggest thing with cerebral palsy is that the students have their fine motor skills inhibited. Their intellect is fully there, but I understand where you're running into some difficulties, such as in the gym class. Some activities that you can choose to modify, such as like a baseball or a kickball, you can make them constant roles, such as the designated pitcher, so that they're still involved and they're still having the inclusion, which is the most important part for some of these students that have physical impairments.
All right, thanks, Dr. Walt. Mr. Brady, I hope that helped. I think we should be getting our next caller in pretty soon. All right, there's our call. All right, caller, what's your name, what do you teach, and what are you struggling with?
Hi, Sean. This is Mr. Burgundy from an elementary school in San Diego, California. Currently, I'm teaching a math class, and our unit is on addition and subtraction. You see, Sean, I have a student that has trouble seeing the board. It affects her grasping of the concepts, it seems to be the case, and I've tried to sit her closer to the board because that's what we had come up with as a solution in our IEP meeting, but I feel like she needs additional support, and I was just wondering if you had any suggestions, and yeah, thanks, Sean.
All right, thank you, Mr. Burgundy. I actually have a friend. He was diagnosed with a visual impairment, and that kind of sounds like what you're going for here. First thing I would suggest to you is definitely have a discussion with the TVI specialist. I'm sure that your school has one if your student does have a visual impairment. You also need to talk to the O&M specialist. I'm glad to hear that you were following the IEP. The O&M specialist would probably like the idea that you move them to a specific spot in the classroom. I think maybe as far as physical help or accommodations, you need to use maybe some magnification things, maybe even print out some of the lecture slides that you're doing, or if you're doing any activities on the board, just print them out and be able to give them to her so that she can be able to see it if she needs to use any kind of device or whatever. Also, another thing that you can do, and this would actually help and reinforce other things in your classroom, is if you use physical objects, things like if you were learning addition or something like that, some kind of conceptual thing, use physical objects. Like if you're counting, you can do apples, all right, here's 1, 2, 3 apples, all right, and then put one in and just try to get the concept of adding, or take an apple away, and that could be like the concept of subtracting. Just try stuff like that, and make sure that you follow the set. The TVI specialist will help you get software, different stuff that you might need in your teaching, just different things that you could do. I hope that helps, Mr. Burgundy. I think we should be getting our next caller in soon, so... Alright, there we are.
Sean, this is Mr. Moody from New Orleans, Louisiana. I teach music in the middle school here, and I have a student who had severe concussions. And she was a very big fan of music, and now it's tough for her in the classroom because I have to let her leave the classroom every now and then, and I just don't want her to lose her love of music, and she's just been taking a lot of breaks. And you know, Sean, if you could help me out, that'd be awesome. I just want her to enjoy music again.
Thank you, Mr. Moody. All right, we're going to swing over to our expert in TBI, Dr. MVB. Dr. MVB, what do you got to say?
Hi, Mr. Moody. Thank you so much for calling in. So what it sounds like, you're dealing with a case of mild TBI, which is a traumatic brain injury. So with cases like this, what you said about giving breaks, that's really the best thing that you can be doing for this student. Their brain really needs time to recover, and those breaks is that time for recovery. It's important that we pay attention to the small things that are affecting the headaches and things that they're seeing, such as in music class, the sound is going to be a real issue for the students. So allowing them to leave if things get too loud for them is really important. Also paying attention to the notes, that could give them a headache just trying to read music. So just being aware of things like that and being flexible with those students. So yeah, I think that's really what you can do. Something to remember is that just because the student's having a hard time doesn't mean that they don't love music anymore. She still loves music. You just need time to let the brain heal.
All right, folks, that's all we have for today's segment. Just remember, if your student has a disability, make sure that you're in good communication with the IEP team. The IEP team works hard to make sure that they're doing everything that they can to help the student. Just always make sure that you're advocating for your students. That's what teachers are here for. Please join us next week at 106.3. I'm your host, Sean, signing off from 106.3 Teacher Talk. We'll see you next week.